Have you ever said, I'll do it someday? Someday I'll start working on myself. Someday I'll fix my health. Someday I'll spend more time with my family. Someday I'll finally chase the life I actually want. But here's the problem. Someday feels harmless. It sounds patient. It sounds responsible. But most of the time, someday is just fear wearing a calm voice. Because life is short. Not in a motivational poster kind of way. In a real, uncomfortable, countable way. The average person gets around 30,000 days. That's it. And if you're 30 years old, you've already spent more than 10,000 of them. Gone. Not saved somewhere. Not waiting for you to come back. Gone. And this is the part most people avoid thinking about. Time doesn't stop because you're confused. It doesn't wait because you're not ready. It doesn't pause while you figure out the perfect plan. It just keeps moving. That was the thought that hit Marcus one ordinary Tuesday morning. Nothing dramatic had happened. No accident. No tragedy. No shocking news. Just a normal morning. His alarm rang. He reached for his phone. And before his feet even touched the floor, he had already lost 40 minutes. Emails. Messages. Short videos. News. A few posts from people he barely knew. Then he looked at the time and whispered, "Again?" Marcus was 34. He had a decent job, a decent apartment, a decent life. That was the word everyone used for him. Decent. But deep down, he hated it. Because decent wasn't what he wanted. He wanted to feel alive again. He wanted to be healthier. He wanted to build something. He wanted better relationships. He wanted to stop watching his weeks disappear into the same routine. Wake up. Work. Come home tired. Scroll. Eat something quick. Promise himself tomorrow would be different. Sleep. Repeat. And the strangest part was, nothing felt terrible enough to force him to change. His life wasn't falling apart. It was just quietly slipping away, one day at a time. That evening, Marcus visited his father. His father was 68, retired, and sitting on the porch with a cup of tea, watching the neighborhood kids ride their bikes. They talked about normal things at first. Work. Bills. The weather. Then Marcus asked a question he didn't even plan to ask. "Dad, do you feel like life went fast?" His father laughed softly. Then he got quiet. "Faster than you think." Marcus waited. His father looked across the street and said, "When you're young, you think life is ahead of you. Then one day, you realize most of the moments you were waiting for already passed." That sentence stayed in the air. Marcus didn't know what to say. His father continued, "I kept saying someday too. Someday I'll take your mother on that trip. Someday I'll learn guitar. Someday I'll spend more weekends with you kids. Someday I'll slow down." He took a long breath. Then one day, someday became too late. Marcus looked down at his hands, because he knew exactly what his father meant. He had his own list of somedays. Someday he would get in shape. Someday he would call his old friends. Someday he would start the project he had been thinking about for 3 years. Someday he would stop wasting evenings. Someday he would become the person he kept imagining. His father looked at him and said, "Most people don't waste their lives all at once, son. They waste it 5 minutes at a time." That night, Marcus couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about those words, 5 minutes at a time, because that was exactly how it happened. He didn't choose to waste a whole year. He just chose one more episode, one more scroll, one more late night, one more postponed workout, one more unanswered message, one more "I'll start next week." And somehow, those small choices became his life. The next morning, Marcus opened an old notebook. At the top of the page, he wrote one question. If I was 90 years old looking back, what would I regret ignoring? He expected the answer to be complicated. It wasn't. He wrote 3 things. My health, my family, my purpose. That was it. Not more meetings, not more notifications, not more pretending to be busy. His health, his family, his purpose. For the first time in years, his priorities looked obvious. And that made him uncomfortable, because he realized he wasn't confused. He was distracted. That day at work, Marcus started noticing things he had ignored before. He noticed how often people said, "I'm busy," but couldn't explain what actually mattered. He noticed how many tasks felt urgent but meant nothing a week later. He noticed how quickly a full day could disappear into small, forgettable actions. Emails, meetings, messages, scrolling between tasks, looking productive, feeling exhausted, but not actually moving toward anything meaningful. At lunch, his coworker Daniel asked him, "You good? You seem quiet," Marcus said. "I think I've been spending my life on things I won't even remember." Daniel laughed. "That's a little dark for lunch," Marcus smiled, but he wasn't joking. That evening, instead of going straight home and collapsing on the couch, he drove to his sister's house. He hadn't visited in months. Not because he didn't care, because he kept telling himself he was busy. His niece opened the door and shouted his name like he was someone important. That hit him harder than he expected. For 2 hours, he forgot about his phone. He helped with homework, ate dinner with them, listened to his sister talk about how tired she was. Nothing extraordinary happened. But when he left, he felt something he hadn't felt in a long time. Present. On the drive home, Marcus realized something. A meaningful life doesn't always announce itself with fireworks. Sometimes it's just choosing the right small moment instead of wasting another empty one. The next week, he made a rule. Not a dramatic life makeover. No 5 a.m. fantasy routine. No perfect plan. Just one rule. Every day, he had to make one choice that his 90-year-old self would thank him for. Some days, that choice was a walk. Some days, it was calling his father. Some days, it was going to bed instead of scrolling. Some days, it was working on his project for 20 minutes. Some days, it was saying no to something that only looked important. At first, it felt too small. His old mind kept saying, "This won't change anything." But then he remembered what his father said. "You don't waste your life all at once. You waste it 5 minutes at a time." So maybe you rebuild it the same way. 5 minutes at a time. A month passed. Then 2. Marcus didn't become a completely different person overnight, but his days started to feel different. His mornings were less frantic. His evenings had more space. He started taking walks without headphones. At first, it felt boring. Then the boredom turned into clarity. Problems that felt huge at his desk felt smaller when his body was moving. Ideas came back. Energy came back. He started noticing how much of his exhaustion wasn't from work. It was from carrying too many unnecessary things. Unnecessary conversations. Unnecessary obligations. Unnecessary comparisons. Unnecessary decisions. So he started cutting. He stopped saying yes just to avoid disappointing people. He stopped checking his phone first thing in the morning. He stopped pretending every task deserved his attention. He made a list of everything he wanted, then circled the top 3. Health, family, creative work. Everything else became the avoid list. Not because it was bad, but because a short life cannot hold unlimited priorities. And for the first time, Marcus understood something most people learn too late. The quality of your life is not decided by what you say matters. It is decided by what gets your time. 3 months later, Marcus visited his father again. Same porch, same cup of tea, same quiet street. But Marcus felt different. His father noticed. "You look lighter," he said. Marcus smiled. "I think I stopped waiting for someday." His father nodded slowly. "That's a good thing to stop waiting for." They sat in silence for a while. Then Marcus asked, "Do you think it's too late to change a life?" His father looked at him. "It's too late to get yesterday back, but it's not too late to stop losing today." That became the sentence Marcus carried with him. Not too late to stop losing today. Because that's what life really is. Not one big dramatic moment. Not one perfect plan. Not one magical future where everything finally becomes easy. Life is today. This hour. This choice. This conversation. This walk. This meal. This call. This page, this moment you are either using or losing. And the danger is not that your life will be short. The danger is that you'll spend most of it waiting to begin. Waiting until you feel ready. Waiting until work calms down. Waiting until you have more money. Waiting until the timing makes sense. Waiting until someday. But someday is not a date on the calendar. It's where dreams go when you're too afraid to start small. So here's the question. If your future self could watch how you spent today, would they feel grateful? Or would they quietly wish you had paid attention sooner? You don't need to change everything tonight. You don't need to quit your job. Move cities. Wake up at 5 a.m. Become a completely new person by Monday. Start smaller. Call someone you love. Take the walk. Write the page. Sleep on time. Delete the distraction. Say no to the thing that steals your energy. Spend 20 minutes on the dream you keep postponing. Because your habits become your days. Your days become your years. And your years become your life. If that sounds painfully familiar, if you're tired of watching time disappear while telling yourself you'll start later, then this story is for you. Because once there was a man who thought he had more time, until one simple truth changed everything. Life doesn't begin someday. It begins the moment you stop wasting today. And if this story hit you, do one thing before you leave. Write down the one thing you've been postponing. Not 10 things. 1. Then take the smallest possible step toward it today, because time will pass either way. The only question is whether it passes while you're waiting or while you're finally living.